Hi, and welcome to Tapped into Hudson. I'm Steve Lennox, and I'm the publisher of Tapped into Hoboken, Tapped into Bayonne, and Tapped into Jersey City. As we tape this show today, we're about 12 hours or 24 hours or so from the inauguration of President Joe Biden, the outgoing of President Donald Trump. And with that, we're going to talk a little bit of national politics today. And I have two very special guests that are going to join me. They would have loved to have been in the studio together. They get along very well, regardless of what their positions are. And that's something I want to talk about, actually. But we have the chairs of the two parties in Hudson County. We're going to start with Amy DeGise, Chairwoman of the Hudson County Democratic Organization. Amy, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you
Happy
for joining us. It's a
Inauguration
pleasure.
Day. Yes,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much for having me.
Of course. Amy, you heard the introduction there. You and Chairman Arango is going to join me after you're on for a few minutes. You two get along very well. I can tell there's a sort of mutual respect between the two of you, something that doesn't exist too much in politics or even in life, and that has certainly been seen in the past couple weeks. What's your secret with Chairman Arango? How do you two get along so well?
I think if you have a love and an adoration for Hudson County, you have a special place in my heart. We're both born and raised in one of the most diverse areas in the nation, I would say in the world possibly. So you kind of have to grow up learning to understand and really appreciate everyone and be embracive. It's not just about being tolerant, it's about taking it all in and, melting in the pot with it. So he's always treated me with respect and humor and has been a nice friend. So I've returned that. And I hope that we have a friendship that will continue for a very long time.
No, that's great to hear, and that's very similar to what Musab Ali said last week. I had him on as a guest. He just got elected as school board president, and he spoke in very similar terms. He grew up in a very diverse community, and he said, race, religion, sexual orientation, all that stuff, it never really mattered in Jersey City. You just used to being different. Being different is being the same in Jersey City, and that's a great message, isn't it?
Such a good message, and I worked with Musab, Trustee Ali, for a while, and he is, an all-star. But I'm also an educator here in Hudson County, and I see that all the time, that our students here, our youth, they're so embracive of it. And I always have to remind them that this is not the norm. That if you're going to go to, a half hour south or west, it's a lot different. And their demographics are not like ours. And that's what makes us so unique and really appreciative of, just everyone's background and culture. It makes us so much more willing to work together. And I think that's why we progress faster.
Amy, that divisiveness that you talk about, it seems to pervade every segment of our lives, whether it's politics or business. Certainly we've seen it the past 4 years in politics and certainly the past 4 weeks. And, we may even see it in the final 4 hours of President Trump's administration when he wraps it up tomorrow. What do you think President Biden is going to say to the nation tomorrow to get people moving in the right direction, get us back unified?
I don't know what exact words he could use, but a calm tone, a loving, empathetic tone that talks to everyone. Because even within my own party, we have different factions of people who don't agree with each other. But you're going to have to talk to the entire nation tomorrow, a nation that is looking to heal, whether it's from, the pandemic, the economy, or Trump's presidency. So I don't know what his words will be. I just hope that they are set in a tone and a message that this is a new slate. I don't think that we should be combative and continue dragging out the Trump narrative. We're going to start new. We're going to be better, and we're going to, put our credibility and our values back on top.
Amy, when we think about the tens of millions of people that voted for President Trump, and it wasn't that far off between President Trump and President Biden, and we still hear millions and millions of Americans that are concerned about the way the election turned out and maybe don't trust the election results. And that was certainly a narrative President Trump put out. And I think most people think that's what led to the uprising on January 6th. Are there enough people that want to hear that message of unity that you think President Biden can get through to people?
People have to be sick of this. Every day that you turn on, your news, or you go on your social media, people have to be tired of this. This has been really 4 long, long years of just battles and conspiracy theories and fighting with each other, friends and family and coworkers. So I hope that people are embracive of it. Maybe you weren't a huge fan of Joe Biden. Maybe he wasn't far left enough for you. Maybe he wasn't, conservative enough for you. But I just hope that we're willing to get over this and go on with our lives. And again, find some sort of improvement, because I don't think anyone's lives besides Jeff Bezos had improved under the Trump administration.
Some people have said, Amy, that part of getting over this is getting past this idea of impeaching Trump or pursuing the impeachment, pursuing a trial in the Senate. Do you think we should just let that go, or do you think that should be pursued?
You don't want to keep his name on everyone's radar. You don't want him to be on the news anymore. That's true. But you don't want him to come back and run for re-election in 4 years. And you don't want him to make those threats that he will run again. So I do see that the impeachment may be useful for that, and also hold him accountable for the disgrace that went upon our Capitol.
Thank you, Amy. I think that's very sensible. It's a good approach. Amy, we're going to take a break for a couple of minutes here. And we come back, I want to talk about how national politics is going to break into state politics and local politics in the coming months. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
No problem.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
Pinto Properties, Jersey City. Shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces that address your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment. Adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintoproperties.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Hi, and welcome back to Tapped into Hudson. We're joined today by Hudson County Democratic Chairwoman Amy DeGise. We just spent a few minutes there talking about the outgoing administration of President Donald Trump and what an incoming administration of President Joe Biden is going to look like, and how hopefully we're going to heal the nation and then put back some of these fractures that have occurred over the past 4 years. Amy, thank you so much for joining us. I want to kind of bring the conversation now back to New Jersey and eventually to Jersey City. The president the legacy of Donald Trump, it often plays large going into the next year, certainly. And we're going into a gubernatorial election year. Do you think what President Trump has done in D.C., is that going to affect what's going to happen in New Jersey politically this year?
Only if the Republicans learn to rebrand themselves into, a little bit more of a liberal party and separate themselves from Trump. I'm not positive if they're going to be able to do that in that time frame. And I do really feel like Governor Murphy's, his leadership, his response to the pandemic has been so proactive, and people have been widely supportive of it, even people across the aisle.
I think a lot of people see that maybe now's not the time to change horses, right? I mean, it's been a very difficult time for all of us, but there's, what's come out of Trenton, it seems like it's been this voice of unity, what we were lacking in DC. That's what's going to carry through in an election, I bet you would predict.
100%, and a lot of the other leadership as well, the state representatives, the assembly. I think that they've worked tirelessly throughout 4 years trying to combat what was coming down in Washington and, fill in gaps. I see it on the education side when programs were taken away from disadvantaged students or students with disabilities, the state jumped in. So maybe they see now having an ally in the White House will really kind of push some of their initiatives forward and begin to support things that Governor Murphy has been pushing since the beginning.
Right. Amy, you just announced a few weeks ago your own run for office. You're taking a shot at a city council at large seat in Jersey City. You're going to run on the same ticket as Mayor Stephen Fulop. What prompted you to make the decision now to run for office? Why is now the time?
So Jersey City is this, my heart. Being an advocate for it, being a part of it is one of my favorite things in the world. That's kind of a legacy of my family being involved in the legislation here. And there's a lot of ideas that I have, a lot of things that I think we haven't touched on just yet. And I think that Mayor Fulop is appreciative of that, as well as, my efforts to be a diplomat. I've worked with these mayors, all of our legislators and representatives on peacefully solving issues, because that is what means the most to our community and our constituents. So I feel like showing that diplomacy now, and working together, just shows a unified team goes a lot further than anything else. I'm really excited.
That's great. I want to talk about the diplomacy a little bit. When I spoke with you and Mayor Fulop for a Tap Into article a few weeks ago, you both said that you want to come together because you're both about the betterment of Jersey City. And I am one that truly believes most elected officials are about making their communities better. But you also have this dual role of being chair of your party, a very challenging position. And earlier this week, there was a bit of a dust up between Senator Menendez and Mayor Fulop. How, as chair, do you handle those sorts of things?
All of the time. I think Hudson County has such a legacy of infighting and battling and, major civil wars and, Mexican standoffs. I don't know. My role has, again, been to be a diplomat and to work with everyone, make sure everyone feels heard, from elected official to constituent and advocacy groups. And that's how I continue to feel. I am completely supportive of Senator Menendez. He's a great representative for us in Hudson and New Jersey. And I'm supportive of the mayor as well. And those could be, two things that are real. You don't have to be on one side or the other. And I hope that, I give that some representation and people feel that they don't have to align with a certain team or group, that this is for the betterment of everyone. We're all just trying to do our jobs. We want to do them well.
Amy, I feel bad I'm only leaving about a minute and a half to answer this question, but late last week, Senator Weinberg and a committee came out with some recommendations in a report that showed very disturbing trends that I think most of us knew were occurring, misogyny and sexual harassment and just terrible behavior in politics. This week, the Hudson County Republican Organization had some of their own challenges around that. Why does this keep happening in politics, and what can we do about it?
Oh, well, it's been happening for a long time. I don't think that this is something we're going to solve overnight, because we've allowed it to happen for so long. And it's, only now getting more and more light shed on it. And, a lot of times, I've said this before, you can see blatant sexism, racism, misogyny, and you roll it off your shoulder. It's the people who don't feel like they're being racist or sexist or misogynistic that need a little bit more work. And we are, fighting for the best ways to combat this and to empower people and obviously show more representation. There are really limited roles in leadership, whether that's political or business or education. And we need to kind of spread out that leadership to be more inclusive and have more voices and make sure that we're allowing people to speak again, not in a way that we're fighting each other all of the time, that we're actually solving problems.
And do you have any, this is another challenging question, Amy, but do you have any message for a man like me who, sometimes we may see these actions and we don't act in a way that we should to put a stop to them? What do you say to somebody like me?
Oh, be better, ask questions. I know people are afraid of being offensive right now, but ask questions and highlight the voices of people who feel like they're being put down. And if you need to highlight a few of them to get your thoughts together, do that. And if you feel like you've missed an opportunity to, help someone out or defend someone, make sure you pass that message on what it felt like to miss that opportunity and what you would like to go back and say to them.
Thank you, Amy. I think really we can all be better, can't we? That's the bottom line here. Amy, thank you so much. I can't believe our 12 minutes is I can't believe our 12 minutes is up already. We can chat all day. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm looking forward to talking to Chairman Jose Arango in the next part of the show. Amy, best of luck with your campaign, and I hope to see you back in America soon.
Yes,
thank you.
Thank you. It was good seeing you. Please tell the chairman I said hello.
I will. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Stevens Jersey City Ford, located right off of NJ 440 North. Across the Hudson Mall is your one-stop for all your automotive needs. Check out Ford's latest models like the 2020 Ford Fusion with its stylish looks and hybrid options, or the unparalleled high-performance 2020 Ford Mustang. The 2020 Ford F-150 Raptor is ready for those rugged off-road terrains with trail control. Need a mid-sized truck for your towing and hauling? The 2020 Ford Ranger will deliver. The 2020 Ford Escape is a luxury SUV that was made for comfort and adventure on the go. Returning is Ford's legendary Bronco, which takes you back to the true meaning of off-roading. They are now available for pre-order in our showroom or on our website. Let us help you find your next vehicle. Stevens, Jersey City Ford, 201-432-7272.
Hi, and welcome back to Tapped into Hudson. I'm Steve Lenox, and I'm the publisher of Tap into Jersey City, Tap into Hoboken, and Tap into Bayonne. In the first part of the show, we welcomed Hudson County Democratic Chairwoman Amy DeGise. We talked a bit about politics. We talked state politics, local politics, of course, national politics. Now we're going to flip to the other side. We are, of course, a nonpartisan show and a nonpartisan news source. And I'm very excited that our second guest today is the chairman of the Hudson County Republican Organization, Jose Arango. Chairman Arango, how are you today?
Pretty good. Thank you for the opportunity. It's a pleasure to be here. And I just want to send my regards to Chair Lady DeGise. She's a beautiful person. She's what we need in politics. She's a person, like she said, she's a diplomat. She's a soft-spoken. She's a inclusive person. At the end of the day, politics is the art of getting compromise. And, we can have our difference, but at the end of the day, we can't forget that you can be the chairman of the Democratic Party or chairman of the Republican Party. The bottom line is you have to represent the people that you serve in Hudson County.
It's all about serving people. And Chairman, on that note, in September, you got elected to be chair of the chairs of the Republican Party, sort of this conglomeration of the 21 county chairs. And John Bramnick, a very prominent leader in your party, made a comment about you that you're liked by everybody. That's rare in politics, that everybody likes somebody. What is your secret? Because I think that's something we can all strive, is to be liked and trusted by everyone.
Well, the leader in the legislation, he knows that, my job always has been try to help everybody. Don't attack anybody. Let people, even when I'm being attacked, I let people be what they are, because people's reaction in politics sometimes is their life experience. My life experience has been that America has given me what my country never gave me. I born in Cuba with Castro. I grew up in Spain with Franco. And then I come to Hudson County and they tell me you have to be a Democrat. And I say, no, give me whatever nobody wants, because I'm tired to be told what I have to be politically. And that's how I became a Republican. I got elected with Tom Kean. And Tom Kean teach me that the best way to be in politics is to be inclusive, to tolerate different opinions, and to know that you are here to serve. You're not here to input your own ideas. You have to listen. You have to learn from the people who criticize you, and you have to be humble, and don't get involved in politics to do business or make money. Basically, you're a public servant. You're gonna do well if you know what you're doing, but don't criticize anybody. Work with everybody. And let everybody speak by themselves. Doesn't matter what they're saying. It's good.
Chairman, all those words that you just used, everything that Governor Kean imparted on you, sounds very opposite to the way President Trump has run his administration and run the country for the past 4 years. How do you sort of merge those two? He was the leader of your party. I think in some ways he still is the leader of your party. How do you bring that all together?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I was supporting Chris Christie. He was running for governor, for president. I was supporting then Jeb Bush. I thought Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio could do a tremendous team, and also Kasich. And then we have Donald Trump. We have to remember how Donald Trump got there. He was the Frankenstein created by the Clinton machine, because they thought he was the easiest guy to beat. And what nobody was reading is that the American people were tired of all the shenanigans in Washington, and they wanted a business person that didn't care about politics, but cared about taking care of issues. And sadly, he did a lot of good things, the president. And, I didn't agree with him in a lot of issues. Maybe I agree with him in 55% of the times, but he was the leader of the party. As the chairman of the party, you have to defend as much as you can the person that is the president of the United States. I will never criticize any president, even if Obama, I will criticize the policies, but I always respect Obama as president. I respect Clinton as president. I respect Donald Trump, George Bush. And now we have to respect Joe Biden. He's our president. And something? we all have to stick together here, because it's not a matter of party affiliation. It's about the country. It's the United States. And so we have to be sincere with ourselves. Do we want the United States to be a fiasco, or you want to be a success story? And if we want to be the leaders of the world, we all have to be together. And that was what I was always defending about Donald Trump. I know I know all the issues about Donald Trump. I know when he opened, he was doing a lot of good things. When he opened his mouth, he derailed the train. But we have to make sure that when we attacked Donald Trump, we were attacking the United States. We were attacking our credibility in the world. If he was making mistakes, he was making mistakes. But you know something? He was there for 4 years. So let's try to make it the best that we could. And I think the Congress of the United States has so much hatred in the Democratic side and the liberal side, because I don't believe Biden is that part of the Democratic Party. You know, Biden is a person that I think can be very successful as president, because he's not the left-wing guy. He's basically the guy he negotiates. He's a deal maker. So he's going to be the guy that probably is going to keep himself in the center. And if he keeps himself in the center, he can work with the Republicans. He can work with everybody. You know, of course, we have extremists in both parties, and we see it. You know, we see it even in Hudson County. The people who are against Amy DeGise are the nuts, basically. You know, the people who are extremists. And you know something, the people who are against me are the same extremists. You know, many of the people who are against me were in Washington on Wednesday, creating the biggest embarrassment that we had in the history of the United States. You know, that's
Jose,
what we have to see. Extremists.
I'm sorry to cut you off there.
Right or left.
Jose, thank you for that. We're going to cut you off for a couple minutes. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back and we're going to continue this conversation. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Good Friend Self Storage in Northburg, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Hi, welcome back to our final segment of Tapped into Hudson. We have Chairman of the Republican Party in Hudson County, and he's also chair of the chairs of the state Republican Party, Jose Arango, joining us. Jose, you were on a roll in the last segment. I don't want to cut you off there, but I want to talk a little bit about, you talked about that turbulence and the divisiveness that's been going on and the extremism that really does come from both parties. What do you think Joe Biden needs to say when he's sworn in on Wednesday to sort of bring people back together?
Well, the message should be that, he's the president of the United States. He's the president of all the Americans. And we can have our difference, but we can't forget that we are the best nation in the world. And we are a nation under God we have all the opportunities. People like me, that came from a communist system, can be talking here today about politics. He has to send a message that of hope, a message of a new beginning, a message of forgiveness, a message that America interests are bigger than politics. We know that we don't like what we see in many ways in the last 4 years, but we can be naive. There was good things happening and was bad things happening, and he has to be the father. He's the old guy that comes here and says, listen, kids, you guys have to follow. This is the reality, and bring that calm that we need in the United States right now. I think he can bring that calm, and he will. If he does that, he's going to be a success story. If he goes back to the shows and the waste of taxpayers' money that we saw in the past from the Democratic Party, that they haven't accomplished anything. Let's talk about, jobs. Let's talk about economy. Let's talk about immigration reform. Let's talk about things that people are waiting for. People are waiting to see solutions. Let's keep a lot of the policies that the former president had in the market with China. Defending the market, defending our industry, defending the United States interests. We have to make sure that I think Biden is that type of a person that he can get along with the leadership in the Republican side in Congress and in the Senate. So I think we can accomplish a lot of things if we stay in the center instead of going left or right.
Thank you. I think that's sensible advice. Chairman, you talk about, having a sensible message and a message of hope and unity. There's at best an unwritten rule that former presidents don't criticize incoming presidents. They sort of leave that administration alone. They sort of let it be. And I think to a large extent, we saw that President Obama left President Trump alone and President Clinton left President Bush alone. Do you expect President Trump or former President Trump will be the same sort of former president? Do you expect that he'll leave Joe Biden alone and let him do his job?
And hopefully he will, but I will not be surprised because with President Trump, you never know what's going to happen. Is the reality. He's a person that he's not political. He's not a diplomat. He just tell you that whatever is in his mind, and sometimes that's why he gets in trouble the way that he gets in trouble. I believe that we have to come back to a more thorough situation in the country and in politics. I think we should be a little bit more humble. My life has been be humble, be nice, and never think that you're bigger than anybody, and respect everybody. And hopefully the president can take a page out of that advice. But it's up to him, and it's up to the American people to judge his character.
It remains to be seen for sure. When we talk about judging President Trump, former presidents also have a funny way of rebuilding their reputations after they're out of office. President Carter is seen as quite the statesman now, and maybe his administration didn't portray that. President Bush Jr., the second President Bush, is seen as a statesman and a philanthropist, and in some ways universally beloved. I mean, when you see the former presidents sitting there together, you get a good sense of this is what the nation's about. President Trump is going out under a clouded couple of weeks. Certainly a very divisive president. Do you think he can rebuild his reputation in any sort of positive way, or is too far gone?
I think it's up to him. I think the good thing that the American people have is they know how to forgive, and our democracy is stronger than what people think. President Trump is not bigger than the United States. President Trump is not bigger than the people who die defending our democracy and our values. I believe that, something, we all make mistakes. Hopefully he understands that he made mistakes. Hopefully he can outline the success that he had, for example, in the Middle East. And, it's nobody that has accomplished more for the peace in the Middle East between Israel and the Arab country than President Trump. But nobody's paying attention to that because of all the other negative and all the other narrative that we have seen for 4 years. Since President Trump was president, they tried to derail his presidency. And, and then I think, not being a politician, he overreacted to the shenanigans of the left-wing politics. And now what he has to do is he can sit down in Palm Beach and relax and be a family man with a family there, and maybe go back and see that he had a great opportunity. He did a couple of good things, and maybe he can do some good things for America. There's nothing wrong. I believe strongly that the American people are the most forgiveness and the nicest people in the world. And that's why everybody wants to come here. We are the land of opportunity. We are the land that everybody wants to be. And sadly, people are going to remember President Trump for what it is. But like I said at the beginning, America is bigger than President Trump, and our values are bigger than any politician in this country.
Jose, thank you. I think that's beautifully said, Chairman. I so appreciate you coming on today. Like I said to Amy, I wish we were in the studio, and I wish the three of us were sitting together having this conversation. Time will come for us to be able to do that.
Hopefully,
Until then, we have
we
to.
can get the coronavirus.
We'll do it
Hopefully
soon,
we can-
Jose. We need to wrap this up now. It's been another great show. To all of my readers and all of our viewers, I appreciate you sticking with us through coronavirus, through COVID-19, while we have to be apart. Until we can see each other again, please stay safe, stay apart, stay healthy. Thank you.
Thank you.